Welcome back to the Lightkeeper's Path. I'm your host, Kimberly Katherine, and I'm so excited you're here. Today, I am delighted to welcome Christine Longnecker. She is amazing. Christine's journey is anything but ordinary. As a child, she knew she was different, but trusting her intuition didn't come easily. She was a high school and college valedictorian whose career led her into the government intelligence industry and later into private fraud analysis, fields built on facts, evidence, and logic. Yet beneath that analytical mind was a lifelong connection with animals and an intuition she couldn't ignore forever. Everything changed the day she walked into a rescue shelter and a little black and tan dog looked directly at her and said, "I just want to be a good boy." That dog was Miles. Miles had been labeled unadoptable after being returned again and again, but Christine saw something no one else could see. One day, while she was training horses, Miles began jumping the horse jumps on his own. She recognized his extraordinary talent, trained him in agility, and together they went on to compete at the Westminster Kennel Club Dog Show, winning the hearts of people around the world. As Christine continued training horses and riders, she also embraced another extraordinary gift, her ability to communicate with animals. During the COVID lockdown, she took her work online, and what began as a leap of faith grew into an international practice. Today, she works with clients around the globe, from Ukraine, Spain, to Singapore, United Kingdom, Ibiza, and beyond. Today, we're talking about intuition, listening to those whispers, trusting our inner knowing, the wisdom our animals carry, and what becomes possible when we truly learn to listen. Christine, welcome to the Lightkeeper's Path. I am so grateful you're here.
Oh, I'm so happy to be here. Thank you so much. And that was such a good, that summed it up. The introduction definitely summed it up. And that little Miles is right there under the
Oh,
blanket in the back.
he's hiding. Please show your face. Oh my gosh, you're so adorable.
Hi, buddy. He always loves to be under a blanket. And then this one, Millie, always loves to be in a lap. So
Oh my gosh, I love that. Before we talk about animal communication, I'd love for you to tell us about Miles. He was considered unadoptable, a rescue dog who kept being returned. That just breaks my heart. What happened the day he started jumping the horse jumps, and how did that eventually lead to Westminster?
yeah, it all starts back at the first day I saw him. So I think I was like 26, right? And I'd been teaching horseback riding lessons for a while at that point, and I was an adult and I wanted my first dog as an adult. And so I filled out all my applications for rescue dogs, and I was looking and trying to find one, and I loved, of course, them all, but none really felt like they clicked. And so one day I went to the shelter that he's from, and I'd pulled up like two other dogs that I was interested in, and we were kind of walking past the kennel line, and something made me stop, and I backed up and I kind of looked, and this little black and tan dog was sitting at the front of his kennel just very stoically and looked at me, and I looked at him, and in my brain, like somebody had picked up a telephone in my brain, I heard, "I just want to be a good boy." And
Oh.
I was like, at that point I knew animal communication was a thing, but I'd never thought that I could do it. And I was like, "Oh my god, he just wants to be a good boy." I'm like, "That one, that's my dog, obviously,"
Ah,
right? And it had turned out, I'd found out later that he had been brought back multiple times. They said that he was aggressive, that he couldn't be around other animals, kids, humans, anybody. Like, they were pretty convinced that he was gonna be unadoptable. They didn't know what to do with him. And from the day I took him home, he was just scared, right? Like, it took 3 months for his tail to come out from between his legs.
oh.
He had horrible undiagnosed colitis. He had worms. He had the whole gambit of things going on. So he just wanted to be a good boy, and he just wanted help. And so I started him getting him physically feeling better. He was going to all the barns with me. He was so scared, but you could tell that he was just trying.
Mm.
And one day his tail came up and he was wagging it and
Mm.
he just ran out. Like one of the horses had like stopped at a jump or something. And he ran out and he jumped over the jump and he turned around and he looked at me and he like started barking. And like I'd never seen him look any happier. And I was like, oh, like, is this something you want to do? Right. And I
Mhm.
had never done dog agility. I knew of it from some friends. So I was like, all right, let's get into classes. And so we started classes and he just took to it like a pig to mud, like absolutely loved it, blossomed, enjoyed it. And as like your first agility dog's called your novice A dog. And so like my novice A dog knows nothing. I know nothing. And all of a sudden he's like racking up all these points.
Oh my gosh.
He was the number one All-American dog at nationals. He qualified for the AKC National Agility Championship every year. He was eligible, ended up getting his master. He now has 4 master agility championships. But when you get that, it's called your mock. You can qualify for Westminster. So we qualified for Westminster and he got in. And then synchronicities all over the place, right? Like the more you open, and the more the
Yeah.
universe gives you, right? So
Yes.
at that time, I had been doing the communication thing, I had been opening, and we got into Westminster. And then the following year, when we went back, the New York Times got a hold of his story and wanted to interview him. And we ended up in the New York Times. And now Miles has a Hollywood agent and a
Oh,
literary agent.
oh,
Yeah.
is he going to write a book?
Yeah, that's all those things are out there. I'm waiting for the timing to be right. I think the
Mm.
economy is a little tough right now, but the all of those things are out there and his story is just his story is incredible and he's a reminder every day of just you just need the right people to believe in you and you
Yeah.
need to believe in yourself and anything's possible.
Anything is possible. Oh, I love that. Oh my gosh. What would you say that Miles taught you? You kind of just said it. No, not only about dogs, but about seeing potential that others maybe overlook. Is that
You
kind?
know, yeah, he's just look at him just laying there, right? Like just
Mm.
the fact that this dog that they considered to be unadoptable has raised multiple litters of kittens. We
Oh.
fostered 35 dogs for rescue organizations. This was our 35th foster. That became a foster fail.
Foster
um
fail.
yeah, he's trained multiple horses. He's gone everywhere with me. He's just such a lesson in resilience and that
Yeah.
he never stopped believing in himself. He just needed the right situation and the right people to see what his potential was to really blossom. And he's never looked back since.
Oh my gosh, that's so sweet. God, teary-eyed moment. Wow. Well, this is so interesting because like I did the introduction, your where you started, your background is fascinating. You were a valedictorian, worked in government intelligence, later as a fraud analyst, and like I said, those careers rely on logic, observation, evidence. How in the world did you ever get to where you are now with this intuition and analytical to trust your intuition?
My story parallels Miles, except
Oh.
I had such a strong backing of people. So Miles believed in himself, but never had the people to help him, where I had the people to help me, but I never believed in myself.
Mm.
So I actually had my first psychic mediumship experience when I was 11. My grandmother, who I was very close to, had passed away. And I could smell her perfume and I would see her and I would have dreams of her and I told my family and it's not that they didn't believe me. Like I grew up in a very Catholic household, so that wasn't like that sort of world wasn't exactly what we believed in, but my
Yeah.
parents were never like, "Oh, you're crazy, let's send you to a mental institution." They were like, "Well, you've been through some trauma, like it'll be okay." And one day, my mom and I were getting ready to go to the barn, and I walked by her. And she like whipped around. She goes, "Why did you put on grandma's perfume?" And I was like, "I didn't. Like, I've been telling you I can smell grandma." And so she definitely started leaving me at that point. Um,
Wow.
but life happens, right? Life happens, and it wasn't ever something that anyone nurtured in me. And I was already like the weird horse kid at school that like likes animals more than people. So I buried all of that, went on with my life, tried to be normal.
Oh, you froze again. Yeah, we do have a lot of activity going on today. For our listeners, we've frozen because Christine has so many people around her.
Oh,
I'm gonna see if my VA can edit these blocks out.
perfect. Yeah.
Maybe
I
we
know
need
I
to
even
burn
checked
some
my
sage.
internet.
What's that?
I have sage next to me. I need to light it.
Yeah, let's light it.
Yeah.
You were saying that so people didn't believe in you and then you kind of buried it and then you just went on, you went on. And so interesting. So as a child, you kind of knew you were different. And when did you start communicating with animals? Was that as an adult then?
Yeah. So when the next trauma in my life that kind of propelled this forward was when I was 20, my dad died really suddenly.
Oh,
Um,
okay.
and I started having all of these strange like sensations in my hands. And I would always feel like my whole life, I'd always felt like there were people around me or people following me, and there never were, obviously, because they weren't actual real people.
Right.
And so when I had like these sensations in my hands, I went and did a life coaching with horses, exercise with a friend of mine. And she was like, maybe you should do energy healing.
Mm.
And so I started doing energy healing. And in the energy healing, I could feel those people around me even more. So then I went into a mediumship circle. And in the mediumship circle, everyone would joke that I was always the one that would bring forth their animals who had passed away, not their people.
Mm.
Um, and the first time I actually talked to an animal was when I walked in the shelter to
Oh.
look when and found Miles. That was my first experience with a real life in person animal that I could talk to.
And that was like 2018, is that right?
Yeah, yeah, around then, and that was the moment that I leaned in because I was like, I'd already been circling the wagon, right, with all the other modalities, and when that happened, I was like, this makes sense to me. This is what I want, and so I started practicing that, leaning into it, asking my clients if I could talk to their animals, and the COVID shutdown actually ended up being the best thing for me
Yeah,
because
tell us.
I was self-employed and we were locked down, and I was like, well, I need to make money somehow. Like, how am I going to get a paycheck? So I was like, you know what? Throw caution to the wind, start offering the animal communications because as you know, I can do them from a picture.
Right.
So I leaned into that, started doing it, was having just the best time, and everybody was recommending me to their friends and the next person and the next person. And that COVID is really when that blossomed for me.
Oh, that's beautiful. Wow. So let's see. So 5 years ago, 6 years ago,
Yeah,
2020, maybe 2021.
yeah, I had been casually doing it beforehand for a year or 2 and then really leaned into it in 2020, 2021. So, yeah.
So for someone who has never experienced animal communication, what is it? Do you hear words? Do you get images? Do you feel emotions? How does it go for you?
Yeah, I always tell people the best way I can describe it is it's like this very strange game of Pictionary. So,
Yeah.
animals will, and every animal is different. Every animal communicates a little more strongly one way or the other, but they will send me images and pictures. I will see words and phrases. I will hear them in my brain, and I will also feel things in my body. And
Mm.
then I have to try and take all of that and articulate it to the person in a coherent English sentence.
Oh, yeah. This is so funny. For those of you that are listening and not on YouTube, Miles is starting to get out from under the blanket. I see his full head now. He's
He's
making
like,
an
oh,
appearance. Hmm?
he's like, oh, are we working? He's very like he's around for every single communication that I do. Like he transmutes the energy and helps me so much where this one just wants to take it all from me.
He just cuddles. He's a cuddler. So, what are the biggest misconceptions, would you say, that people have about animal communication? Is there any that you
Yeah,
can think of?
interesting. I think a lot of people, I always joke because I still do dog agility with both of them.
Hmm.
And I talk to a lot of people with sport animals.
Yeah.
And I always get the like, can you tell him and make sure he hits the bottom of his dog walk contact? Or can you tell the horse to just load on the trailer? And I'm like, I can tell them that, but it's like telling your kids something. Like it
Yeah.
doesn't mean they're gonna listen, right? Like this isn't it's magic, but it's not like I can't convince your kid to eat their vegetables. I can't convince your dog to stick it on the dog walk. What I
Right.
can do is find out maybe why they're not, or if they're in
Yes.
pain, or if they're confused about something.
Yeah.
Um, but if they're just like, nah, don't wanna, like I
Mm.
can't, they still have free will just like us.
Yeah. You know, so I'm the light keeper's path I talk about with people. They get through the storm and they find their inner light. And I found that for a lot of people who are in the storm, they have an animal that helps them, meander, get through that storm while they're getting through it. Have you noticed, or do you know that, and it could be a big storm and then there's just life after that. But do the animals change also when that human is going through that storm? Or do you find a lot of them are stoic because they're just trying to be strong for their human? I don't know if that's a lot of questions at the same time,
It
but do you know what
it
the
is that
gist
this
is?
yes, and I find this answer so fascinating because I was actually thinking about it when we had booked this and decided we were gonna do this.
Right.
I think I think it's twofold. So I think people have the storms and animals come to them to help them with it. I
Mm,
think
yeah.
animals themselves have their own storms
Yeah.
that they sometimes need help with, and then I think that there's the combination. So in my life, obviously, Miles came to me as the catalyst for everything that I'm going through. And he was everything that I needed when I needed it. And he showed me so much about, I was not, I buried all of my intuition for so long and went that like analytical road. So I'm a Pisces sun, but I
Mm,
always hid my emotions. I
mhm,
didn't want to be the water, right? Like so I
yeah.
pretended I was very in my masculine. And Miles came around and interestingly showed me my feminine, right? And showed me like you can have emotion, you can be scared, you can work through all of that and there's beauty on the other side. And now that I am more emotional and more of that kind of water, he's taken the more stoic route.
Interesting.
Which I think that transition is really beautiful. And I have a cat who, of course, is probably in the catio. We just extended the catio, so they're having a blast out there. But I have a cat who was my first cat as a child when I was 5. And she just reincarnated as well, not
Mm.
just, but 9 years ago, reincarnated as my first cat as an adult.
Wow.
Yeah.
And how did you realize that? Miles prepped you.
No, so yeah, well, yes. And I like so she was born to one of the barn cats, and the two cats had litters at the same time. Miles raised that litter. The minute I looked in this cat's eyes, I
Eyes.
knew she was Boots. I knew she was the cat Boots that I had had as a child. Her name is now Giselle.
Wow.
But they're so similar in so many ways.
Have you acknowledged it with her and said, "Hey,
Oh,
it's okay."
Oh, she
Yeah.
knows. Oh, she totally knows. She knows. She's known from the beginning. She's the smartest. And I have that with a lot of clients too. Animals that will come back to them for a different phase of life. Or
Mhm.
I have some who have passed away that they're like, hey, I'm going to come back to you, but like, I helped you weather the storm. You've got to enjoy this part of it, and I'll be back to you at the end. Like, the animals have so much more of an awareness than we do of
Yeah.
the ebbs and flows of life, I think, that they lean into it better than we do.
Wow, that's amazing. Huh, I love that. Thanks.
Yeah.
And then when you connect with animals all over the world, have you found that animals communicate similarly regardless of country or culture? Or kind of funny when you think about that, like, right?
Yeah.
I was in the, I was just in the UK and people communicate differently in every regard. And I mean, do the horses and animals communicate differently there than the US?
So people ask me this question all the time, and my answer is always no. But the way you just said that, right? Because the different cultures have different like emotional depths and things
Yes.
too. And
Yes.
but I don't get that from the animals.
Okay.
Um,
Yeah.
they really, I think because with the animals, it's more of a frequency, right? And I have
Mm.
some that I talk to that very much feel like I'm talking like you and I are talking right now. Like it is
Oh,
so
yeah.
easy and it doesn't take anything out of me. And then I have others that will like send me a picture and a feeling and they expect me to dig in from there and figure it out, which is like very draining for me.
Yeah.
Um but I don't find that it matters where the animal is from or even necessarily what breed or type of animal it is. It's very much just like a person dependent on their personality.
Yeah. Has an animal ever shared something with you that completely surprised you? Or maybe that you didn't wanna share with the client?
Mm. The surprise happens every day.
Oh,
Um, and
okay.
I was actually talking to my roommate about this and she was like, because I always like, get to the end of my day and I'm like telling stories and she's just still this many years later blown away. And she's like, it would be so easy for you to just like lean into the same stories that you always tell about like, I have a dog in the war zone of the Ukraine who
Oh.
was is incredibly psychic and told me that the first time I ever talked to this dog, and this is something I didn't necessarily want to tell the owner because she said, my owner's going on a trip in, and I need her to know that her flight is going to be delayed, but not to worry because she's still going to get there on time. And I was like, okay, I'm
Mm.
not saying that because one, that sounds crazy. And two, like, how do you know? I don't even know if they're traveling. Right. But the dog would not tell me anything else until I said it.
Mm.
So, so I did. And the owner was like, oh, well, yeah, I am flying in a couple weeks to my daughter's graduation. And a couple weeks later, I got a message that a bomb had gone off at the airport the
Wow.
morning she was supposed to fly, but she remembered what the dog had said. She didn't panic. Her connection was delayed and she still made it on time for her daughter's graduation.
Wow.
But like that seems nuts, but then like that happens all the time. So like just last week I think I talked to another dog who I had talked to this dog before. So I wasn't weirded out telling her moms this, but they are having twins and the twins are about to come and they wanted to make sure that this dog was like settled and okay with it. And the dog said, "Oh yeah, I know that they're both boys and boy B and I have actually become really good friends. We've been communicating and talking.
Oh
And
my
boy
gosh.
A is a lot more independent." And the moms were like, first of all, yes, we are having 2 boys, so wild. And second of all, boy A is has some health things that, like, they're really monitoring, and so it makes sense that, like, he has to be strong and independent and stuff. That's just my everyday. It's and I never get tired of it because
Yeah.
animals are incredible.
They are. Do you think that they mirror our emotions? Or do you think that they try to carry us?
I think that depends on the animal too.
Yeah.
Some people are empaths, some
Yeah.
people are mirrors, some
Mm.
people are in our lives for a challenge, some people are in our lives to carry us. So Miles has been in my life to carry me, right?
Mm.
Millie has been in my life as a mirror. She is so emotional, and I find when I get frustrated with her emotion, it's usually something I'm frustrated with in myself. So I
Yeah.
think it's very animal dependent and time in your life when they come in and what they need from you.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. So amazing. And I mean, we kind of know, but maybe you've already what do you believe our animals are trying to teach us? Probably the
Everything,
biggest. I know, right?
everything.
Compassion, listen, presence. That's kind
I
of
think
obvious, but go ahead.
I think if we take nothing else away from animals, this is my shtick, my soapbox. If we take nothing away from we take nothing else away from our relationship with animals, including wild animals and that sort of thing, it's empathy and understanding and the connection to nature, right?
Mm,
Like I think we as humans get so stuck in this gotta go, gotta do, gotta conquer, gotta achieve, gotta create, gotta, right?
yeah.
And the animals, and I have plenty of animals in my life who are competitive or who want to achieve or who want to learn or who need a job. But the difference is their identity isn't wrapped up in that. They tell me that it's more fun when you play. It's more fun
Mm.
when you see the world around you. And there, a lot of people are like, oh, well, that's because animals live in the present. And I disagree with that
Oh,
because
why? Why?
I have I have so many who come to me that need I always joke that I'm like an animal therapist that need healing from their past, the rescue trauma, the
Right.
story trauma, the stuff that they've been through.
Yeah.
And I have plenty that tell me things to come in the future, like the dog in the Ukraine or the dog with the pregnant mom. I think the difference is they can hold the past and hold the future and still stay present in the present. And
Mm.
that's the difference. So it's not about just being in the present and not thinking elsewhere. It's about being in the present, grounding yourself, looking at Mother Nature, and going with the rhythm of nature more than just the grind of what this society kind of indoctrinates us with.
I love that explanation. I think you're absolutely right. I've never heard it explained that way. That's a beautiful take on it. Thank you.
It always resonates so deeply with
It
me. And when I get
does.
and I found myself this summer because I'm busy with the communications and then I'm like going, and there's family things and stuff. And I find myself falling out of that intuition and into the grind. And I'm like, nope, I need to take a minute because the
Mhm.
moment I look at the animals in my life, my cats all of a sudden are trying to get my attention and snuggle. The dogs are like, we don't actually want to go anywhere. It's you just have to look at them and they'll tell you where you need to go.
Yeah. Wow, interesting. We kind of talked a little bit about, when you're going through the storm, just to kind of phrase it a little different again. Have you noticed that when people heal themselves, maybe you have somebody who healed themselves from cancer, do their animals begin changing too? I mean, I know we already touched on it, like going through the storm, but maybe this is through a different light.
No, and I like what you're saying. I'm trying to think of specific examples because I think what happens a lot is the people who come to me are like, my animal has a problem. My animal has a problem,
Oh,
right? Fix my animal,
interesting.
fix my
That
animal.
makes sense. Yep. Yep.
But most of the time, what the animal tells me, and a lot of the times, right, they might need the animal sure does need help, but I have sometimes gotten the animal being like, no, my human needs to be more centered, or
Mm.
they're anxious, or I am mirroring them, sort of thing. I had um, one dog, so I keep coming with the dog stories. I have a lot of I talk to an axolotl, right? Like they're not just all dog stories, but I had a dog who was actually a competitive dog and was really good. And one time she started to really like slow down and like get a little bit funny. And when her mom contacted me and was like, is she unhappy? Does she not want to do agility anymore? The dog said, my mom's having an issue. her immune system isn't right. And I was like, are you having an issue? And the mom turns out like has a lot of immune issues and some immune disease that she thought that she was ahead of, but the dog knew that she was having a flare. And so
Mm.
she was able to get the help that she needed. And then the dog started running agility again.
Oh, wow.
And then it happened again. And the mom was like, I think I'm okay. And the dog told me, yes, there was a man there that had an energy about him that made me so sad. I
Oh.
didn't understand why we were doing like why were we were doing this sport. Like it didn't make sense. And the mom was like, I mean, there's like a guy there that I don't normally see, but like, I don't know. She went and asked. That man had just been diagnosed with terminal cancer.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
Wow. So the animals that you deal with really tell you some profound different messages.
Yes. Yes.
Wow. And sometimes I imagine that might be tricky and you may need to filter what you tell. But then again, the animal mom might say, I'm not telling you anything else until you tell them. I'm
It
shutting down. Oh,
It
man.
so for example, the axolotls. So I didn't even know axolotls existed. They're like the cute little like salamander.
Yeah.
Yeah. I didn't know that was a real thing. I she sent me a picture and I was like, "Oh, they're real."
Yeah.
Right? And this is a case of like, I just was like, "Oh my God, do I say it?" So
Oh,
the axolotl had a family that also had a bearded dragon and 3 dogs in it. And there were 2 kids, and we were like, the animals were going through and saying who, like, not who they loved the most, but like who they jived with the most, right? And it kept coming up, the son, the son. And axolotl jumps in and is like, the daughter and I get each other. I love the daughter. And the mom was like, that makes sense to me. Like, my daughter has always said that she loves this. She loves Meep Meep is this axolotl's name. The daughter loves Meep Meep. And then the axolotl tells me that the daughter and her understand each other. And she's like, I'm not kidding you. Like, we understand each other. And so I like test the waters and I'm like, Meep Meep says your daughter talks to her and she understands her. And the mom was like, my daughter tells me that all the time and I didn't believe her. Like, I was like, yeah, yeah, you talk to your axolotl, right? Like,
yeah.
no, Meep Meep was like, I do. And then we went even a level crazier. And Meep Meep was telling me that she and the daughter, and this is where this is where I would lose most people, and this is where like I sometimes filter. But at this point, I'd been talking to this lady for 40 minutes. So I was like, all right, I'm gonna lean into it. I'm like, Meep Meep says that your daughter and her are from like the same lineage, the same like home planet. Basically, both of them are like little aliens, right? And the mom goes, I had an energy healer 2 years ago tell me that my daughter was an alien. So, well, I guess that's not weird, like,
Yeah. There you
yay.
go.
And the daughter struggles to, like, fit in with society and,
Yeah.
like, has some things going on, and, yeah, it was but what it was so cathartic for the mom to hear, and
Yes.
then for the daughter to be validated, and for little Meet Me to get a voice.
And also, it really validated how important that animal is for their family and her daughter. And it probably gave such a fresh perspective and so much empathy from a mother's standpoint. I imagine you really, really helped that family in more ways than you even realize.
That's I try to be as authentic as possible, and sometimes I'm like, "Man, I went a little crazy there, like, maybe that didn't land right," and usually those ones that I'm, like, spinning my wheels about, a couple
Yeah.
weeks later, I'll get, like, a follow-up or an email or something, and they'll be like, "You have no idea how much that helped," and it just I don't say that out of ego because at this point, like, I just love doing what I do, like, it's
Yeah.
genuinely so fun, but when I get those responses of people that it really did help, like, I get so
Mm,
teary-eyed
I
because
bet.
being an empath, it just matters to me that like I want people to experience the love that their animals genuinely have for them.
Yeah. Well, we did a reading for my dog Shadow, and he's had a lot of health stuff. And when he's fine right now, but when I booked you, because I heard you on Rachel Dretch's show Woo Woo, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I gotta book her, she's amazing. And then when we did the reading, I'm like, oh my gosh, can you please come on my podcast? But anyway, it was so helpful for me because we've been through a lot in the last 3.5 years, and I was just wondering how he was doing, how it affected him. And it just was a beautiful shift. I was so grateful. And just kind of on that note, I was just in Cornwall, England, in a horseback riding retreat. And it was a pretty profound experience, my whole trip. I went there specifically for the horseback riding, prepped for 3 months. I'm not a horseback rider. I went 4 times before. One time when I was like 7, I think I got bucked off. Another time, probably 30 years ago in LA, I went horseback riding down. No, wait, up to the Hollywood sign, back down from margaritas. another,
Yeah.
another, right? Another time was wine tasting in Napa. We rode the horses first, then we wine tasted.
Amazing. Those are the
I
best
know,
kind of
right?
experiences.
I know, isn't that so fun? And then I think another time at some family camp. So I'm not a horse person, but I dedicated 3 months, trained. I was so excited. Went there and we had an opening circle, and it was, mine was to be present and to receive, because to receive, I believe, in my experience, is the final piece of healing, is being able to not only be present, but to be able to receive. But this is so exciting, listeners. I sent a couple pictures of Rosie. She's a pony. So I trained for 3 months and traveled quite far for a horse retreat to ride a pony. And I was just wondering, Christine, what messages did you get from Rosie? Because she was so
Yes.
sweet.
So I'm pulling up her pictures again, but
Yeah.
when I pulled them up, when you first sent them, the first thing that came through from her, like she genuinely connected right away and sent me almost this like energetic healing feeling. And she said,
Mm.
I am a teacher. That for her, like she has this very big ego. Like I don't think
Mm-hmm.
we can't overlook the fact that she has a very big ego and a very big personality. But beneath it is this kind,
Mm.
energetic teacher. And she
Mm-hmm.
says that she shows you one or the other depending on who you are and what you're there for. And she says that with you, she could feel, oh, I love the way she's explaining this. As like a horse person, this also makes sense to me, which I love. But she says with you, she could feel the tension and the nerves through your arms, like
Mm.
you were a little bit braced and tight. And she says, normally that would tick me off. But I kept hearing you in my mind from your soul to mine saying, I'm trying and I'm here and please, not exactly like, please help me, but I love you and I want this experience and I'm here for it. And she's like, well, I can't, like, I can't be mad because she knows she's like, she knows she's anxious and I've got to help her with this. And it feels like, did you have more than one day with her? Or was it like a long day?
So it's interesting. The very first day they did a horse assessment, and then they did like you moved around to different things. And the assessment was on a different horse. It wasn't very long. I thought I was going to be on that horse. And then we did a thing where we just walked around in this area. And I did connect with her. And then the next day, and then the second day too, was the first day of writing. And yes,
Mhm.
and she
Oh,
might have, I'll let you talk before I say something else.
yeah, because she says by the end, like by the end of your time together, it was almost like the way she explains it is your and her heart space had come to the same frequency
Yeah.
is the way she's explaining it. And as a little aside, the Heart Math Institute actually did this really beautiful research on the fact that because horses' hearts are so big, their electromagnetic heart space is so encompassing. And so the fact that you were able to step into that with her and get to that point, one, is beautiful. And two, the fact that she's acknowledging that and the fact that intense healing came through being with her is also so beautiful.
Oh my God, that's amazing. I feel like crying. Thank
I,
you.
I love, but one of my favorite things about all of this is I get that same sensation that people get. So sometimes it's really rough when like the animal shows me that like they died of a heart attack or they
Oh,
could walk, right? Like that is
right.
very difficult on my system. But
Yeah.
something like that beautiful, healing, cathartic heart space, like I just
Mm.
get to bask in it now. And it's so beautiful. I too like get teary eyed.
Oh, that's so beautiful. Well, it was an interesting situation because the day one of writing, I don't really remember. It was about an hour and a half into it. There was a bad accident actually. And so the lady I mean, she survived, but it wasn't good. She got bucked off and stuff. And so it really changed the trajectory of the trip. And after that, I was kind of nervous. And it
That's
wasn't,
where your tension came in. Yeah.
that's where my tension came in. And it wasn't so much because I'd prepared and I connected with Rosie, and she was a pony. I mean, I was joking. I was on the carousel. When you see the picture, I'm taller than she is. My feet can almost touch the ground. But I was so grateful to her. But I got off the horse because it wasn't her so much. I just didn't really know how the other horses were going to respond.
For sure.
And it actually also um, it triggered in me. I had had an auto accident in October of 1999, which was a trajectory for my life. I did a podcast episode on it. And it was pretty bad. So that seeing this accident really triggered me because I had a concussion for a year, and 7 months later I was diagnosed with multiple sclerosis. So it was a whole different. And then 2 weeks before this trip, I didn't know if I was going to be able to go because I got rear-ended, and I had whiplash and a little light concussion. So I was like, oh wow, what the heck is going on here, right? And I mean, I'm not a black belt, I'm an advanced yellow belt, but I trained like an advanced yellow belt, and I did acupuncture. I did infrared. I got, one of those medical IVs. I did everything. I slept, I ate well so I could go and be on that trip. So when that thing happened, it was pretty wild. So yeah, she picked up on but the real healing came. I went to Glastonbury after and had two really profound healings. But I love that you picked up that our hearts connected and the heart coherence. And I'm familiar with the Math Institute, Heart Math Institute, because they're in the same county as I am. They're probably 20 minutes away from my house.
Oh,
They're in Scott.
jealous. That's awesome.
They're in Scotts Valley, yeah. And I'm also really familiar with. That's why I love horses, and they're so amazing because their heart coherence can go out upwards to what, 20 feet? And when we're in coherence, I think it goes out to 5 feet. So are those numbers? I mean,
Yeah, I think I don't remember the exact numbers, but then like when you get a barn of horses and they're all overlapping, it's enormous. Yeah.
yeah. Wow. That's amazing. Thank you for that. Wow. What a nice little bonus. Isn't she so sweet? And what you were kind of saying, it's funny because she's like 20 years old, and she's tried and true, and she's a little sassy, and she's like a
Mhm.
god. They call her like she's like a goddess. I'm like, well, we're really a lot alike because,
Yeah.
and she likes to be with the people. She likes to be with everybody. But she's also, she's okay with herself. Is that
Mhm.
what you? Yeah, she's so
Exactly,
sweet.
exactly. She's like she has this big ego and she's not
Yes.
afraid to show it. But
Right.
if you're authentic with her, goddess makes sense, right? Because if you're authentic, then she's authentic back.
Yeah.
Um, and I'm asking her about the accident,
Yeah.
and
What'd she say?
she like rolls her eyes and
Oh.
she's like she says everyone made
Oh.
everyone made too big of a deal out of it. She says the horse the horse that bucked, like, I don't know if it got stung or there was something under the saddle pad or something, but he felt, because I assumed it was going to be like the rider's legs that caused him to buck, but she says it wasn't. She says that it was something up higher, like a little, like something pricked him, um,
Oh,
and
interesting.
caused the reaction. But she rolls her eyes. She's like, we just needed to move on. Like, everyone held on to that a little bit too long for her. And again, that's animals, right? Like, they can
Right.
clear that stuff so much quicker.
Yeah.
Um, and her being her, it makes sense that she's like, yeah, we
Move on.
needed to just move on.
Yeah.
Like, don't dwell in that
Right.
anxiety energy feeling. Like, life is
Yes.
life.
Yes. Well, that was the message that came on and that I worked on at Glastonbury, which is don't be living in fear. You're always protected. Sounds like that's what
How
she's saying also.
interesting that she had that message for you too. Like,
Right.
which, yeah, you just got to move on.
Well, it was kind of interesting. It was kind of really challenging because it was there was no action taken. You know what I mean? Like it was just kind of, oh, okay, what do we do now? But you've seen it all. You've been with horses.
Oh yeah, yeah.
I mean,
I have seen it all.
yeah, so amazing. Going back to shadow, I'm just curious, do you think that animals evolve, or just all animals evolve spiritually and emotionally alongside us? Because I believe shadow has in this last three. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I think some of them come already equipped with that, but I think for the most part, because think about it, if you we are souls who come here to evolve and learn things, and they're the same. They're souls that come to earth to evolve and learn things, and so some evolve more than others, but they definitely spend their time learning right alongside us.
Yeah, that's what I thought. Thank you.
Yeah.
And what are some simple things that maybe someone can begin communicating more deeply with their pet? Like it
Love
really
that.
helped when I did the reading with you because I came through the lens, and before I tried with shadow, but I just couldn't.
Yeah, I always tell people, one, like, it is so much harder to communicate with your own animals and your own
Oh,
people and your own things than anyone else. I actually spent an entire year dedicating to just be like, I can talk to my own animals the way I can talk to everyone else's. And now it's good. I still get my own way sometimes, but it is so much harder because we have so much more care behind it, I
mm,
guess. Like, right? Like, it's if we assume we know their whole story, right? So we put so much more on it. But what I always tell people is, one, animals always understand our intention. So they can always understand what you're thinking. So if I'm sitting here thinking like, oh, I'm so stressed out. I have 6 more errands to run after this. And then tomorrow's crazy busy, blah, blah, right. They're getting that. If I'm sitting here and I'm saying, gosh, like, you guys make my life better. After this, we're going to go play outside, then they get that. Right.
yeah.
So, and you can say, I can be like, oh, you're a bad boy. But if in my mind, I'm like, you're the best thing that's ever happened to me. Right. Like,
Hmm.
they're getting you're the best thing that's ever happened to me. So, intention is what they always understand. So watch your intention. And the other thing I say is, and anybody, I'm sure a ton of your listeners are working on intuition, which is a never ending thing to work on. But intuition is always the first thing that comes into your body or your brain that is then very quickly overridden by the logic. So,
Mm.
what I tell people who are working on this is, first, be conscious of your intention. And if you feel something, even for a millisecond, grab it and run with it, even if it seems crazy, because that trains you to trust your intuition and let your intuition come through louder. And that for me is where I got to, because I would say things that I thought were bananas. I still say things that I think are crazy, but they always end up making sense or coming full circle.
Yeah. No, that makes absolute sense. Well, I love that. Thank you. I'm going to practice that.
Yes, we can all do it. Like, and
Yeah.
I am a firm believer, like, all of us can do what I do, right?
Hmm.
Like, and all of us have the capacity. some everybody can play basketball. Some are better than others. Some are more naturally talented, right? Like that is what it is, but everybody can do it. And so it's just a matter of remembering your own power and remembering how strong and talented you are and leaning into it. Because I think we just have this stigma of like, I can't do that or they're special or what. No, like I just leaned into it more than somebody else did.
Yeah, and you had the intention there, like, "I really wanna do this, I really wanna do
Mhm.
this." You kinda you have to make the decision, and then
Right.
just be completely dedicated and see what the trends are and, "Oh, is that a message?" Or, and just kinda go from there. You are amazing. Thank you so much. I'm gonna
Well,
have,
this has been so fun. Thank you so much
oh,
for inviting me
oh
on.
my gosh. We're gonna do another one in 6 months, and we're gonna talk about Oreo.
Yes.
I
Yes.
can't wait to get back on Oreo. He's the one I trained with, and,
Oh, amazing.
yeah, I know. He's here locally. He's not a pony. He's a regular horse.
He's a real man.
Real man. I know. He's so sweet. He's tried and true. He's old too. Well, I think he's like 16, but, I think what do they call him? A steadfast horse or just, um,
Like a steady Eddie.
yeah, like a steady Eddie. Something like that. But where do you have any programs? So you're a horse trainer. Is that right?
I'm mostly done with the horse training. I'm doing
Oh,
the communications full time.
okay.
So I am doing the communications full time. My website is just my name. So it's christinelongnecker.com.
Right.
And that has all the links to like my socials and stuff too. And you can book online and everything should be there.
Yeah, and we'll have that in the show notes too. Any other last thoughts you want to leave us with animals or your path or just any tips in life?
The only thing I would say is to any person who, just looks and is like, "Oh, that's a bunny running across the street," or, "Oh, that's just
Mm.
a bird in the tree," or, "Oh, look at that cat running down the road," right? Like, my message would be to look at them and take a couple breaths and realize that they too are sentient beings sent
Mm.
here with their own life and their own journey, and the more you realize that and the more you open your heart space to them and realize they're just as sentient and worthy as you, the more the world opens and the more beautiful things become.
Oh, I love that. Thank you so much. Oh,
Yeah, thank
you're
you.
amazing. I'm so grateful. And
Oh, I'm so grateful for you.
thank you listeners for being here. We'll have all your contact information in the show notes. Can't wait to have you back in 6 months.
Yes, thank you.
And if anybody is slightly even thinking about it, you need to book with Christine because I am going to tell you, she is amazing. I looked into booking again and I noticed that it's pretty far out. You're pretty booked. So,
I know. I wish I could clone myself and do way more so that people don't have to wait because I hate having people wait, but I haven't figured out a way to clone myself yet.
no,
So
no, no, no. That's what makes it so beautiful and authentic. So just keep it the way it is. Keep it real. Thank you again so much. And Lightkeepers, we'll see you soon. Thanks.
bye.